Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is the newest fighting game from Arc System Works, Marvel, and Sony. Saying this collaboration is unlikely is nothing but an understatement. And the community really exploded over this announcement back in June. Now, this past weekend, there was a relatively short closed beta session for the game. And in this video, I'll be going over some of the game's basics, sharing my thoughts on how I thought the game played and where I think it will go. Now, at a glance, the game is a minimum 5-button game, so you have light, medium, heavy, which is typical of Arc System Works and Tag fighters, and a unique button that does something unique with every character. So, for example, you can use the unique button with Storm to blow the wind back and forth, and this affects both her movement and special moves. After that, you have an Assemble button, which calls assists, and the game recommends that you have a special move button, but you don't actually have to. You can use the special move button to do special moves, of course, and supers. I primarily found myself using it for supers, mostly because the input was pretty simple, it's just 3 buttons. But I'm actually thinking of also using it for anti-hero special moves like Captain America's DP and Storm's Tornado, because that is a down-down input, and surprisingly, it's kind of annoying to do. So there are all sorts of special toggles that you could do in this game if you want. It seems pretty clear to me that they were definitely thinking about people who play on pad for this game. So you'd have like 4 face buttons for attacks, and then whatever extra toggles you want, like a special move button or a dash button or a tag button, you could just put under triggers. But if you're using an arcade stick or a hitbox like a leverless controller, you're probably going to run into the too many buttons problem. I don't think it's as bad as 2xKO. So for example, my layout, and here we have my wonderful controller right here. So you would have L, M, H. This is U for unique. This is a dash button. This is tag. And over here, special move. So I had my dash button in the same place I have my strive dash button because I'm already used to that. In my opinion, the dash button is not optional, and this is how you see people moving so quickly and precisely already. And speaking about movement, it feels good. The game feels fluid, and characters have both universal and unique ways of moving around the screen. For example, Storm can use wind and fly, Star-Lord can fast fall, and he can also fly, and he can also lunge around the screen. Miss Marvel can zip around the screen with her unique ability. Certainly, one of the challenges of the game is going to be trying to contain this movement because of how much you can do it, depending on what character you play, but there's already some pretty clear counterplay. A simple example would be the flight I mentioned just now. Flight is pretty powerful. You have total free control of movement when you're in flight mode, but you can't block. So if someone has a read on you, they can just try to just meet you air versus air and hit you. I want to touch on the match flow of the game a little bit. So this game is 3 out of 5 rounds, and you pick 4 characters. So you have a point character who is your leader basically. The first character you pick will be a neutral assist. The second character you pick will be an anti-air assist, and the last character you pick will generally be some type of block string assist that also has a little bit of neutral application. Now, to my knowledge, you have 2 main ways of getting assists, either lose a round or by breaking the wall. So because the game is 3 out of 5, somebody is going to have 4 characters at some point. Now, the wall break mechanic was visible in the announcement trailer for the game, and definitely there were some people who were pretty upset from seeing it. Now, I play Guilty Gear Strive, and there's a wall break mechanic in that game too. People were comparing it to that mechanic immediately, so much that I made a video about wall breaks in general from Guilty Gear Strive and relating it to this game. But it works quite differently in Tokon compared to Guilty Gear Strive. So for starters, there's the stage itself. In Strive, you have an infinite loop of a stage. The wall has HP, but after doing a certain amount of damage, the wall breaks. If you break the wall with a super, you get a hard knockdown, and if not, you return to neutral. Whoever broke the wall gets a bonus to their damage, meter gain, burst regen, defense. It's honestly a huge advantage. In Tokon, however, the stage is not infinite. Rather, it's one large stage with a left, center, and right stage. On top of that, the wall does not take damage. Instead, you have to use a specific move with your character to break the wall. It is very intentional as well, and you're not really going to be able to do it by accident. I played Storm basically exclusively, and with her, you have to do 214L, so core circle back L, and then use wind towards the wall to break the wall. Now, many fighting game players are not a fan of the Guilty Gear Strive system, and having it be more of a secondary system than a primary one, as in Strive, no matter what, you have to interact with this thing, where in Tokon, you have to, you should, but you don't like have to, and it's not constantly breaking up the pace of the game the way it is in Strive. So I think that's going to be a welcome addition for many people who skipped over Guilty Gear. But don't get me wrong, it is important. The benefits are many. You get a whole extra character, an extra assist and assist gauge, and then supposedly you also gain more HP when you get more characters too. The assist gauge is pretty important. I haven't played a tag game that's had it. Apparently it's in BB Tag, and I skipped that game. This affects all sorts of things, so assist calls for offense and combos, access to certain combo extensions, and more. Having more assist gauge also means your defense is better because you can use the assist call on defense, the crossover, because you have more gauge. The defensive mechanics seem pretty strong as a preventative measure. There are already examples of both strong and fast overheads like Miss Marvel's EX Chop, and strong offensive situations like a restand with Star-Lord, a corner steal with Storm, and even more advanced sandwich style pressure using the tag system. The combo system seems to borrow a lot from Granblue Fantasy vs Rising. Different actions add every move points to this combo limit gauge that appears under the combo counter while you're hitting people. If you want a really good breakdown, I would recommend watching Gimmer's video on this, as he made a video about this before the beta came out. Now, as for the team aspect of the game, this game is a 4v4, but there was a lot of talk after EVO especially of the game feels like a 1v1 game with assists. Now that I've played a good amount of the game, I could definitely understand why people would feel that way. You really can actually play one character with assists if you want. And there are a few benefits of this too, and I definitely see the vision of like this style of design. So one, it just makes it easier to learn a character. When you're playing a tag fighter for real for the first time, you generally spend a lot of time playing your point with assists, and you don't want to switch characters that much. It takes a little while to learn how to play the other characters, because most people's introduction to fighting games is a 1v1 fighting game. So having to learn 2 extra characters all the time is always going to be quite a bit of an ask for people. And while my first experience was in Dragon Ball FighterZ, where a lot of the characters have the same baseline thing, so like once you learn how to play like SSJ Goku or SSJ Vegeta or Bardock, you can play like 80% of the cast. It could be a pretty tall order for a game like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, for example, which makes it less intimidating for new players because they could just pick their favorite hero from Marvel and just play them with assists. You also get to play most of the game anyway, even if you play one character with assists, but in the long run, I think there will definitely be merits to being able to flexibly switch between characters on the fly. I mean, for starters, there's just the matchup flexibility, right? In the case that you have some perceived bad matchup with your character, you have 3 other characters you can swap to. You start the game 2v2 anyway, so you could just swap right away at the beginning even. Despite the assists being locked to roles, different characters do different things in those roles. Take it like Doctor Doom and Iron Man in the Assault slot. So Doctor Doom does the beam, the pillar beam that comes down from the sky. Iron Man summons missiles and sends them full screen at you. Same effect, it's something that has a little bit of startup, a lot of blocks done, but done different ways. So this leaves room for a lot of experimentation and exploration into the characters and what they do. And of course there's offense that we have to talk about. Characters have tools for opening you up, so there's things like Miss Marvel having her fast EX overhead chop, or Storm having a command grab, which is pretty random. But if you dig into the tag system and are willing to play multiple characters, you will get access to some pretty interesting structures, like one that was found over the weekend using Star-Lord and Doctor Doom. So I think you'll definitely be rewarded for doing so, and there are a lot of different approaches to play the game, which I think is a good thing. I found the game to be quite fun. I played in a few betas in my time playing competitive fighting games, and this is legitimately the most fun I've had playing one. I'm actually pretty sad I only got to play it into one session. I played some other games, so like for example, Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator had a beta, but that one doesn't count, right? Because Guilty Gear Xrd was already out. But I thought, for example, Dragon Ball FighterZ was pretty okay when I tried it out for the first time. I also thought Fatal Fury and Street Fighter 6 that I played in those betas, I thought the games were fine and that they were really trying to make a game for a certain type of person. I actually really enjoyed the original Granblue Fantasy Versus when I played it in beta. For Strive, the original closed beta of Strive, I was like, what are they doing? I was like, dude, nothing makes sense about this game. But by the time the second beta came out, about like 6 months after I wanted to say, with the rollback test, I found that one much more enjoyable than the original version. There were also games I didn't really like at all. So there was BB Tag, for example, where I played that game before it came out. I wasn't really that big of a fan. And DNF Duel, when I played the beta, I don't think I played more than like 45 minutes before I turned off my console and I asked like what was I doing with my time. So I've had quite a spread of impressions on games that have come out over the years when they released these initial tests. And this is probably the most fun I've had, probably tied with the original Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. And the thing I'm waiting for the most, because this will definitely affect how I feel about the game, is what characters they add to the game. Because the big thing about this game in particular is the unique button. So I tend to think of team games having like a very samey baseline, and then once you dig into characters, there's like lots of complexity, lots of nuance. And then of course there's the team building aspect as well. So for this game, especially because it's a 4v4 and you take on this type of game, I really want to see who they end up adding. If you like anime air dashers, you'll like this game. If you like tag fighters, you'll like this game. If you like Marvel, I'm pretty sure you'll like this game. I don't know how a Marvel fan would feel seeing this like Japanese anime style Marvel game, but I presume they would like it. I don't know. There's a lot of new and unique systems, and honestly, one of the things that keep me playing fighting games is new systems, like them trying new stuff. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the game plays out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do have a Patreon if you want to support the channel at patreon.com/LordKnight. And I stream on most days on Twitch on twitch.tv/LordKnight. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.